In the twilight of the Second Age, when shadows lengthened over Middle-earth, the once glorious realm of Eregion lay in ruins. Flames licked the night sky, and the cries of the wounded faded into the cold silence of despair. The Elven smiths had been scattered or slain, and their lord, Celebrimbor, met his tragic end at the hands of Sauron. Yet, amid this devastation, the fate of the Rings of Power hung in the balance, their destiny entwined with the very future of Middle-earth. Before the storm of war had descended upon Eregion, Celebrimbor sensed the gathering darkness. The realization that Anatar, the fair-seeming stranger who had guided them in crafting the rings, was none other than Sauron himself, struck like a thunderbolt. With urgency, Celebrimbor took action to safeguard the greatest of their creations, the three rings forged without Sauron's touch, embodying the purest hopes of the Elves. In secret, Celebrimbor entrusted these three rings to trusted hands. Nenya, the Ring of Water, he gave to Galadriel, the Lady of the Golden Wood. Vilya, the Ring of Air, and Narya, the Ring of Fire, he dispatched to the havens of Lindon, placing them under the protection of Gil-galad, the High King of the Noldor. These rings were hidden away, beyond the grasp of Sauron, their powers untainted by his malice. As Eregion fell, Sauron's forces seized the lesser rings, the Seven and the Nine. The 7 rings, destined for the Dwarf Lords, and the 9 rings, intended for mortal men, became tools in Sauron's grand design to dominate all life. The Dark Lord rejoiced, believing that with these rings in his possession, he could bend the wills of dwarves and men to his own. Yet the dwarves, stout-hearted and resilient, proved resistant to Sauron's control. The 7 rings amplified their natural traits, fostering great skill in craftsmanship and an insatiable lust for gold and treasure. While the rings failed to enslave them, they sowed seeds of greed and discord, leading to feuds and the hoarding of wealth. The great dwarf kings accumulated vast treasures, but these riches drew dragons and other foes, bringing ruin upon their halls. The 9 rings gifted to men, however, wrought a darker fate. Men, more susceptible to Sauron's influence, fell swiftly under his shadow. The bearers of the 9 became mighty lords and sorcerers, wielding great power and achieving longevity far beyond that of ordinary men. But this gift was a poisoned one. Over time, they faded from the mortal world, becoming the Nazgûl, the ring-wraiths, Sauron's most feared and faithful servants, neither living nor dead, bound eternally to the One Ring. Sauron, wielding the One Ring, sought to control all the rings of power, yet the 3 remained hidden from him, their bearers vigilant and wise. In Lindon, Gil-galad held Vilya, the mightiest of the 3. Narya was kept safe as well, its whereabouts known only to a few. The Elves used these rings sparingly, aware that open use might draw Sauron's gaze. Their powers were channeled to preserve their realms, heal the hurts of the world, and resist the decay of time. After Gil-galad's death in the War of the Last Alliance, Elrond inherited Vilya, bringing its protection to Rivendell, the hidden refuge in the north. Círdan the Shipwright, Lord of the Grey Havens, became the keeper of Narya. Perceiving the greater need elsewhere, Círdan later entrusted Narya to Gandalf upon his arrival in Middle-earth, recognizing the wizard's purpose and wisdom. With Narya, Gandalf kindled courage and hope in the hearts of those who stood against darkness. Galadriel, bearing Nenya, wove enchantments around Lothlorien, creating a sanctuary untouched by the passage of time. The Golden Wood became a place of timeless beauty, a memory of the West preserved against the encroaching shadow. Yet Galadriel knew that the power of Nenya was bound to the fate of the One Ring. If the One endured, Sauron would eventually conquer all. If it were destroyed, the 3 would lose their power, and the Elves' dominion in Middle-earth would wane. Meanwhile, the One Ring, central to all, was lost. During the final battle of the last alliance, Isildur, son of Elendil, cut the ring from Sauron's hand with the shattered blade of Narsil, vanquishing the Dark Lord for a time. But Isildur, succumbing to the ring's allure, kept it as a weregild for his father's death. The ring betrayed him, slipping from his finger and leading to his death in an ambush at the Gladden Fields. The One Ring vanished beneath the waters, fading into legend and myth. For over 2 millennia, the One Ring lay hidden until chance, or perhaps fate, led it to Gollum, and later to Bilbo Baggins. Its resurfacing set in motion events that would determine the fate of all the rings and the very future of Middle-earth. As Sauron regained strength in the shadows of Dol Guldur, his servants scoured the lands for news of the ring. The Nazgûl, ever bound to his will, searched tirelessly. The wise, including Gandalf, Elrond, and Galadriel, perceived the growing threat. The Council of Elrond convened to decide the ring's fate, leading to the formation of the Fellowship of the Ring and the perilous quest to destroy the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom. Throughout this time, the bearers of the Three Rings continued their quiet resistance. Their realms became bastions of hope and resilience. Rivendell stood as a haven for knowledge and counsel. Lothlorien remained an unmarked gem amid darkness. The Grey Havens offered solace to those seeking passage to the Undying Lands. When the One Ring was finally destroyed in the fires from whence it came, Sauron's power was unmade. The Nazgûl perished, and the shadow over Middle-earth lifted. Yet, with the One Ring's destruction, the power of the Three Rings also diminished. The preservation and enchantments woven by their bearers began to fade. The Elves felt the weight of ages upon them, and the time of the dominion of men dawned. Recognizing that their purpose in Middle-earth was fulfilled, the Elves prepared to depart. Galadriel, Elrond, and Gandalf, each a keeper of one of the Three Rings, journeyed to the Grey Havens. There, aboard the white ships, they set sail across the sea to the Undying Lands, leaving behind the shores of Middle-earth forever. The 7 rings of the dwarves met varied ends. Some were consumed by dragonfire, their gold hoards attracting the great beasts. Others were reclaimed by Sauron, though they brought him little advantage over the stubborn dwarves. The dwarven lust for treasure, inflamed by the rings, led to both mighty works and tragic downfalls, such as the awakening of the Balrog in Moria. The 9 rings remained lost with the fall of Sauron and the demise of the Nazgûl. Their fate intertwined with that of their master, they ceased to hold power, becoming relics of a bygone era. Thus, the Rings of Power, once symbols of craft and ambition, passed out of knowledge. Their stories became songs and tales, told by the firesides of men, elves, and dwarves. The lessons learned from their making and unmaking echoed through the ages, a testament to the peril of unchecked desire and the hope that endures even in the darkest of times. In the quiet that followed, Middle-earth began to heal. The scars of war faded, and new generations inherited a world hard-won by the sacrifices of those before them. The legacy of the rings and the souls who bore them became part of the very fabric of the world's history, a reminder of the enduring struggle between light and darkness and the fragile beauty of all that is worth fighting for. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through Middle-earth's history, please like, comment, and subscribe for more tales from Tolkien's world.